And I'm Kenneth Moten here for ABC News Live, picking up our coverage and our special coverage of President Biden, who just delivered remarks from Dawson Springs in Kentucky after that deadly tornado outbreak devastated the state. Joining us now are our ABC News political director Rick Klein and our ABC News and White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks. Mary Alice and Rick, the president there saying, I'm going to make sure the federal government steps up. Rick, when you heard those remarks from the president, I know that's what you previewed before, that he would go in there and say the federal government will be there for Kentucky for whatever they need.
It's quite a commitment when you think about the commitment of 100% of immediate costs in 30 days being covered, and then the guarantee that no one is going to be left behind, that this is not going to drop, because we are a country that moves on pretty quickly, even from awful tragedies. The cameras will be gone very shortly. People will have to move on with their lives. And the ironclad commitment that he just gave to the people of this region of Kentucky, that the federal government will continue to be there for quite a long time, that no one is going to forget the tragedy they suffered, the anxieties that they're going into this holiday season. We are at a moment where the nation is watching, but we won't be there forever. And the commitment from President Biden, citing his own history with family tragedy, his own history with dealing with natural disasters as a senator and as vice president, as president, is saying that he and the federal government will be there as long as it takes.
And happening live right there in Dawson Springs, Kentucky, you see President Biden speaking with members of the community, with officials there in the state of Kentucky. The First Lady of Kentucky right there to his left. Rick just mentioned that the president approved that request, covering 100% of the cost for all the emergency requests that come in the first 30 days there in Kentucky. On the ground in Mayfield is our Elwin Lopez. Elwin, I see the destruction, the devastation surrounding you. The president there hugged a lot of people on the ground there in Kentucky today.
Yeah, including the mayor of Mayfield. I spoke to her moments ago, and she told me that the first thing Biden did when he saw her was open his arms and give her a hug, something she said she certainly needed. In another poignant moment, a moment of prayer, she talked about the judge executive looking over at the president and saying, I would like the bishop to lead us in prayer. And then what followed was they bowed their heads, held hands, and said a prayer for unity, healing, and recovery for this community. And we know that that path to recovery is a long one. Heavy rain is expected to hit this area already ravaged by tornadoes. Some homes still have gaping holes in them. Other ones are completely destroyed. But for the ones that do have holes in them, people have been going in, picking up whatever they could find, some mementos, photographs, and things like that. And now they're covering that up with blue tarps. And this is something that is going to take a long time for people here to recover from it, not only in the recovery efforts in terms of getting those things out, but in terms of rebuilding. Some people that we spoke to said their homes are not insured. They don't know what life is going to look like for them. A lot of uncertainty at this time, and something that President Biden has said he will be here for the long haul. Kenneth?
Incredible. And as you're reporting there, stated, if more weather comes through, just another 1-2 punch for people who are dealing with so much. Our big thanks to Elwin Lopez. Mary Alice, let me turn to you, because we heard the president there talk about his experience as a senator trying to get assistance for his home state of Delaware when a major disaster happened there. He said it took a long time, but now he is the commander-in-chief. He is the president of the United States, which means he can sign on the dotted line and get that federal aid moving pretty fast to Kentucky.
And that's what he's made clear he wants. He's told federal agencies since Sunday that he wants them to move absolutely as fast as they can. And he's told governors in the region to contact him directly if they felt like there was more the federal government could be doing. He's been giving updates, very granular updates about how much material and assistance the federal government has been providing. He wants people to know that the federal government has their back. But I was struck how this speech was also so classic President Biden, where he was not just talking about policies and money and meeting with elected officials, but wanted to make mention of the people that he had met. You saw him talk to the kids and talk about a woman who promised to cook him dinner. It's so important for this president to show that he is meeting with, as we sometimes say, real people, the average American, the one who really lost their home or lost their business. This trip was largely about bearing witness and being there in a personal way, not just having the federal government see seem like some lofty thing out in Washington, but something that was actively a part of their lives. I think every one of those handshakes and hugs has the potential to make a real difference, and the president believes that.
And we are seeing those handshakes play out live there in Dawson Springs, Kentucky. The president also meeting with Governor Andy Beshear's father, who's a former governor there in the state of Kentucky. Rick, before we go, I want to ask you, the fact that we didn't see one of the most powerful Republicans on Capitol Hill, Mitch McConnell, there in his home state with the president. We didn't see Senator Rand Paul, and we're still checking to see who all the president met with. We don't know any Republicans were there, but does that say anything at all as we talk about unity in the aftermath of this disaster?
Yeah, Kenneth, I want to be a little bit careful because I don't know the logistics of who was invited and not invited, knowing that the Senate has business of its own, and that, of course, there's important business even today, a defense bill passing. There's things that are happening in the United States Senate. So I don't know who was invited and who was not invited. I did note that toward the end there, President Biden saying that everyone is going to remain committed. That includes the elected members of Congress who represent that portion of Kentucky and the state of Kentucky more broadly. So I don't know that it's a particular statement about division. I've seen the statements that Senator McConnell has made, pretty complimentary of the way that this has been handled so far. I haven't seen much in the way of Republican complaints about the recovery so far. So without the real details, it's hard to say. I'd say that it's a little bit unusual. Often you'll see that. You'll have a home state senator travel with the president from Washington. But we should note that there's a lot of business that's happening in Washington today as well.
And that's a very important and good note to point out there. We did learn that Republican Congressman Comer from Kentucky was on the ground there with the president. So we did see a bipartisan delegation coming from Washington there on the ground, because we know there are so many people in need there. And as the president said, this is not red state, blue state. This is Kentucky that is part of the U.S. And so he is there to help and give that federal assistance. And he says that is his job to do. Our big thanks to Rick Klein and Mary Alice Parks. Again, thank you for your time. We will continue updates right here on ABC News Live throughout the day, and a complete wrap-up tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kenneth Moten. The news continues on ABC News Live right after the break.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.